All right, welcome back to Hell with the Podcast, episode 8. And today we are going to finish up our conversation from last week where it was kind of funny. Daryl and I were talking and we're like, oh, yeah, we can get through our Eddie Van Halen stuff in probably about 30 minutes. But it took us almost 2 hours to talk about Eddie Van Halen. But again, we had a lot of fun doing that. So, how are you this morning, Daryl?
Great, man. It's Saturday morning. We're doing our thing. And I always look forward to Saturday mornings and doing this with you. But yeah, I don't know in what world we thought we were gonna get through Eddie Van Halen in 30 minutes.
That, I mean, it was funny. It was, like you said, 30 minutes. We didn't do it, 2 hours. But this was the thing that I think you and I talked about afterwards, or I talked with somebody else about it afterwards. We were talking, and we talked, since the show is basically what we do, our podcast is about the music of Stryper. We can condense it because we know we'll have so many other episodes. We're going to be talking about Stryper. But I think what happened was this was our time to pay that tribute to Eddie Van Halen. And we just kind of went all in and just started talking, started talking about stories, the songs that we liked. But what we were doing last week was we were going to do our top 5 Eddie Van Halen solos or Van Halen solos. And then we were going to discuss our top 5 Stryper solos. Because again, if you didn't get a chance to listen to the show last week, we really talked about the influence that Eddie Van Halen had on Michael Sweet and the band as a whole when it came to guitar playing, tone, harmonies, all of that kind of jazz. We so we really dove into that and had a good conversation. So that's how we kind of linked up the two to have that conversation. But as I said, we got 2 hours in on recording and went, I don't think we're going to get to the Stryper stuff today. So let's do that next week. So this is kind of part 2 of our conversation from last week.
Yeah, definitely part two. I had a blast talking about that last because the first piece of this was like, are y'all got some? We got some of the feedbacks. Like, are y'all going to talk about anything except Stryper? It's like, yeah, we're going to talk about EVH for 2 hours, and so we were thinking that we were going to talk about EVH and Stryper in one episode, and well, that didn't work out.
Nope,
It's all
did not did not happen, which was totally fine. Which, like I said, one of my was able to talk about 2 of my favorite bands of all time, and Van Halen is one of the other ones. And but also, I see you've got a new shirt on, man.
Yeah, I got the original to Hell with the Devil album cover, so something new. So yeah, I love this freaking cover, dude. It's just I don't know. It speaks a lot to me. It's just all the stuff going on and the fact that it's kind of one of those God, the controversy show is coming. So this is one of the things on the list
Yeah,
of
that
the
will be. 'Cause, I mean, we mentioned it on a earlier show where that was the original album cover of To Hell with the Devil, and they did only 30 to 40,000 copies of that cover. They had to put a special sticker on it, and now you just have the black with the red lettering of the album, and that was their biggest selling album, multi-platinum album, and there's only 30 or 40,000 copies of that original cover out there.
Yeah, no, it's when I was thinking about it, what tweets I think we I don't know what set me off, but I was just like, all right, I have to have this. I have to have this somewhere on something. So yeah, I got the t-shirt and I went vinyl shopping the other day, but I didn't find this. I was hoping to find this vinyl, but it was unable to do so. So I'm probably gonna dig a little deeper to try to find this record
Yeah, I'll tell
and
you this, the
hang it
only
somewhere
place
because
things are falling in the background. But I'll tell you this, the only place that I found the vinyl was eBay. That's where I ended up finding the To Hell with the Devil original album cover because every time I would step into a vinyl shop, I was always looking to see if they had it. That would be the first thing that I would go to. I would go to the Stryper section and go, do they have To Hell with the Devil? Never found it. Looked for, I'm not going to say years, but it was just one of those things. Hey, there's a record store. Let me swing in real quick and see. Never found that one. So, but there's plenty out. I shouldn't say plenty, but you can find it on eBay easily. But it goes back to what's the condition and all that. And the better the condition, you're going to pay a little bit more. But
Well, yeah, I have a friend he's a private collector, so if you're looking over my shoulder, got the Boston picture disc, and I got the Van Halen on the 5150, that was a live bootleg, and I have a I'm not gonna get up and grab it, but, I also got a, picture disc of Sergeant Pepper, which is my favorite Beatles record, so, um, it was a pretty successful shopping trip. So,
I gave you a list of a couple of things, and of course, he didn't have it. So,
yeah, I mean, he it was interesting. He had some stuff that I didn't think he would have, and then he had some stuff that or he didn't have things that I was totally thinking that because your boy called and, Luke was like, "Hey, do they have a Appetite for Destruction?" And he didn't have it, and I was really surprised. So, but you never know what you're gonna get when you get stuff like that. I mean, he had like 4 crates of stuff, and so there was a lot of Blondie, there was a lot of AC/DC. Heck, it was really fun, but yeah, that's what I mean, the Boston record was a score because that's one of my favorite records of all time. So,
yeah, it's when you texted me like, "Hey, I'm going vinyl shopping. Is there anything that I can look for?" And I think sometimes vinyl shopping for me, it's like I don't know what I want until I actually see it. And
right.
because there's so much stuff that I could probably list out, but in the moment, it's like I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to get. What get this for me if you see this. But if I had gone there, I'm probably sure I would have found something for me to pick up, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really fun because I mean, shout out to my boy Danny. I mean, he worked he worked in a record store for like 15 years in New Jersey, and he just has just all this stuff. And so we were going through it last night. I was just like, holy crap. So yeah, it was really fun. But yeah, I came away with Boston and Sergeant Pepper and the Van Halen bootlegs. So yeah, now I just need to get a freaking record player that's a
That
decent
makes
record
it worth
player.
having all the vinyl.
Right, exactly. Because I have I have a stand in front of me with a ton of not a ton, but I mean, there's probably 20, 30 vinyls in here. So, um, we're we're gonna redo our living room, but one of the things I wanna do is, like, I want to get one of those turntables that's a piece of furniture, right? It's like, we talk about it a lot, like what mom and pop used to have.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so, yeah, I am definitely buying something like that because we have a we have a piece of furniture in our living room. It's like it's a freaking bookshelf, but I want to get something that is a turntable, but also has this storage capacity for what I'm doing and what I have right now. So that's what we're doing. Anyways,
No,
on
that's
to the
cool.
next.
On to the next. Yeah, on to the next. So we're gonna get into our top 5 Striper solos here in just a moment. Had a quick thing from the Striper news desk that I wanted to discuss this week. And if you did not see this, it was pretty cool. I joined the live on Facebook. I think it was Thursday night, and it was Michael Sweet and Pastor Joe, who is leading the tour in Greece. And they did a live chat about the upcoming tour. So if you have any interest in going to the tour, they go in a little bit more in depth about what's going to be happening on the tour. And they show, and Joe will actually walk through and show different pictures. We're going to do this on day 1. We're going here on day 2. We're going here on day 3. We hop on a cruise. Then we go to these different islands. And it seems pretty cool in regards to walking where Paul walked, like in Corinth and then the island of Patmos where John wrote the book of Revelation from. So if you are interested in going and you wanted to see what they had to say about it, check out the Facebook live feed. Again, I think it was Thursday night. Glad I have water. Gonna edit this out.
All right.
Mm. But if you haven't checked it out, go check out the live feed from this past Thursday, and they'll be able to walk you through and show the itinerary, I should say, of where you're going to be traveling to. He did mention that they're still working to put together a show on the tour because they were talking about how they never played in Greece and they hope that that comes together, but they can't make any promises. But again, you need more information. Go check out the feed from Facebook on Thursday night.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So give me 2 minutes here. So the back to the beginning, the Black Sabbath concert, all that stuff. So I bought tickets to go see Youngblood yesterday, and my daughters were beside themselves. And this has been an interest, and this is totally off topic from what we're talking about, but this dude, Youngblood, I'm really having a fun time following him because I feel like he's kind of gonna be a force. He reminds me when I was watching this show, he reminds me of Freddie Mercury and he reminds me of Steven Tyler. And I'm just like, all right, we're going to see this guy. He's playing at Chastain here in Atlanta. But my daughters were like just out of their mind going, we're going to see Youngblood. I was like, well, okay, cool. We're going to see Youngblood. And it's like, no, you don't get it. They were out of their freaking mind. It's like, this is the next guy. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Cause I'm having fun following this dude because when his performance during the Back to the Beginning concert, the Black Sabbath thing, he absolutely crushed it. And so I bought tickets today and my girls were just like, "Yeah, let's go." They could not have been more enthusiastic about it. I'm just like, "All right," cuz for me, I'm always enthusiastic about the next who's up, who's the next, and I feel like this dude just from his just man when he's on stage, he's just doing it, and I'm stoked to go see this guy because yeah, I feel like he's like the next guy. But anyways, so
Yeah, I haven't. I saw that you had bought tickets to him. I think you had posted it on Facebook or something like that, that you had bought tickets, and I've seen them, but I need to go. I'll go check them out. I'll give you
so
my feedback on them because I haven't really listened to them. So
so go so Google Changes from the Black Sabbath concert.
okay,
Changes is a Black Sabbath ballad, but it really does have some tones of Freddie Mercury, and it's insane, the performance. During the pay-per-view, it was just like, he just commanded that stage, and I'm just like, "Bro's 26 years old." So, I don't know any of his other I know a couple of songs, but as a performer on that stage, I was just like, "Holy this dude." Yeah, because it did remind me of Steven Tyler, and
okay,
they've been working together as well. There's some YouTube videos where him and Steven Tyler are in the studio together, and they're doing alto parts, and just it's really amazing, and my daughter sent me a video this morning where Youngblood and Jack Osbourne were just talking, and it it's interesting because Jack was like he actually said, it's like, "You've been so graceful." That's the word he used, was graceful, through this whole thing, and Jack got, like, really emotional, and, Youngblood was just like, "Dude, your dad was it's not gonna use the word, freaking Ozzy Osbourne." And he he just had so much respect for him as an artist, and because there was nobody else, and I don't mean to get off I'm sorry to get off on this tangent, but, Youngblood just had so much respect for Oz, and it was just like, yeah, and Jack was like he respected how much Youngblood respected his father, and Ozzy actually gave him his cross necklace, and it was so cool, but it was so sad, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be dead soon." And, he was dead 2 weeks after the concert, but wow. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're supposed to be talking about Stryper stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at tickets and buying tickets for Youngblood. I was looking at tickets for the Napoleon Dynamite tour. They're going to be in Augusta at the beginning of December, and they're going to show a full screening of the movie. And John Heder and the guy who played Uncle Rico and the guy who played Pedro, they're going to show the screening, and they're going to have this show afterwards. So I was sitting there looking at tickets for that. So Youngblood, Napoleon Dynamite. That's what we're doing this week in regards to entertainment.
Oh my god. That's funny.
But when I saw that, I was like, it's been 20 years since that movie came out.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, we're old.
But no, but I'll check him out because like I said, I've seen him, I've seen pictures of him, but
I think you would like
said,
him.
I haven't taken that step to say, hey, let me go listen and see what he's like. So, but like you said, I think we should probably get into Striper.
Let's go.
All right. So again, this week we're going to be looking at our top 5 solos from Stryper. And do you want to start with your honorable mention?
I don't even remember what my honorable geez.
I know what your honorable mention was. You texted it to me.
Well, so I'm screwed up then because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all I have. So what did I send you as my honorable mention?
I'm going back. I'm just double checking right now. I'm pretty sure. Gosh, we text so much. I got to go back to a week and a
I,
half ago.
right?
Let's see. I've got it. Oh, this is what you had as your honorable. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is what you had as your honorable mention.
Okay. So yes. So this for me was like,
This is Middle Finger Messiah.
yeah, middle finger. Yeah, dude. First of all, this title rules. So when I think about this song, and this is screwed up, but one of the first things that I thought about when I thought about Middle Finger Messiah was a Slayer song. And there is a Slayer song called God Hates Us All. And it's a freaking banger. But this is how I kind of think about this song, Middle Finger Messiah. It's like it's kind of the same thing. It's like kind of want to drop a F bomb, but I won't. But so that the halftime section of the song, I just freaking love it. It's just a different kind of it's so fast and it's so like it's dang. I just love it because I mean it's just different because when I'm thinking about as we'll go through some of this stuff, it'll be so different because it's just like it's not the old school and it's so fast and it's so just pounding you in the face. Plus, when it gets to when it gets to the bridge and the halftime, it just kind of kicks you in the face like the whole time. But then we get to this bridge and this halftime, and it's just it lets right. I'm not gonna not talk too long because we'll get pinged, but there's just a lot going on because it's like, all right, we're in this insane song, and then it cuts to a complete halftime, and then it there's so much going on in the solo. So yeah, it's like I don't know. It's I don't know. It's like you were saying the other day. It's like, hey, the guitar sounds great.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of my comments today again. Um, but yeah, this
It's just a I mean, it's a different Stryper song. It's like it feels like we're we're doing the Stryper thing, but it is heavy and it is hard and it is fast. So it checks all the boxes for me.
Yeah, because with this particular song, this song was the closing track on Even the Devil Believes, and with that song or with that album, that's one of my more favorite releases from them. I would put that for me. That's going to be one of my top favorites by them. But what's interesting with this song, you and I were talking about this right before the show. I found this old article where Michael Sweet was interviewed because, again, when this song was originally released, there was controversy around it because of the title of the song. And in this interview, the person was asking about even they were asking about the song. And this is what the article said, where Michael, when he responded, said, my brother Robert wrote that. And he said, to be honest, he wasn't really a fan of it. And mainly because he didn't really understand it, is what he was saying in the article, until Robert explained it to him. And it's supposed to mean the world flips off God. and Robert was going to finish the lyrics, but he just submitted part of them. So Michael ended up finishing the lyrics and made it even more so about how we as a world basically shun God in our world. And because of that, he's become the middle finger Messiah. But of course, people, when they first heard this title track or when they heard this track, the name of the track, people started saying, well, I could just hear it, see it. Jesus doesn't give us the middle finger. What is this? This is, and it's just like, no, look more, a little deep into it. Look into what they're saying in the song. Look to what they're, don't go off, like I say, don't go off the deep end when you see the book cover. Read the book.
Right. Yeah. No, this song, I mean, this song always had like a place in my heart just because of the title. I'm always like a guy's like, all right, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say a thing, and you're probably not gonna like it, and that's okay. So anyway, so what
But
you
yeah,
got?
so my honorable mention with this song we've talked about before on the show, but it's More Than a Man from To Hell with the Devil. And I'm going to say this I'm going to repeat what I said last week. I'm not the musician. I can't tell you what they're doing in the song, with their finger, if they're switching back, if it's Oz, then Michael, or Michael, then Oz. I can't tell if it's a whammy bar that's being played, but what I do know, again, I know what I like. And this is one of those songs that I like. So I did pull up notes on these songs as well, what people like about this song. And that's going to be my comments from, hey, what did people like about this song? And some of the things that I heard were, that the solo is uplifting, it's classic 80s metal with a faith driven twist. It opens with a melodic phase that explodes into harmonized leads, tasteful speed work. The tone on this is crisp and mid heavy, and it just sings. And so when I think about this song, I just, again, it's my favorite off of To Hell with the Devil. And it's just one of my favorites by them of all time. So it's, for me, it's like, how can I not include this one? Because it's just a driving song on a incredible album that wraps up their biggest selling album to date. And so More Than a Man for me makes it my honorable mention.
Yeah, that I mean, it's a great song, but the solo is yeah, it's like well, it's like we always say, you gotta separate the song from the solo. You gotta separate the solo from the song. But
Which makes it hard.
yeah, totally. Um, so yeah, a bit, but yeah, you could the storytelling in the song and just the whole
Yeah.
thing is just like this song is like it's a complete package. Yeah, I mean the solo is insane. I mean, there's a lot of tapping. There's a lot of I mean, um a lot of kind of speaking to the vocal. There's a lot of stuff going on guitar wise, but yeah, and there's a great bridge. I mean, God, it's so hard to separate this thing, but
Yeah, it is.
yeah, because we're about to go into it right here. I mean, Mike's doing Mike things, and but yeah, I mean, it's a insane solo. I mean, it's a very 80s solo for sure, um, but yeah, it's I mean, Oz. This is most of this is Oz, and it's just he is just shredding. So yeah, I have no problem with this pick at all.
And
Because
it's interesting when you talk about our picks. This is the first time we didn't have any overlapping picks.
right,
This is every time we've done something, something's ended up on the same page along the way. But today, my our top five versus your favorites, we don't overlap on this. And the other thing too is again, I'm not giving you my five in any. They're just in random order. It's not like this is my number one, number two
sure.
on this. So,
Oh,
but
they're in no order.
so do you want to jump in and give your first one, or do you want me to do that?
No, go ahead.
All right, here is one that I just always liked because I just always felt like it was just kind of gritty as it starts off and then goes into it. A little bit different. We're talking about title tracks that people sometimes have a problem with the title, but I've just always liked how Goddamn Evil just kicks off at the beginning and then just plays through it. And it's again what people were saying that the tone here is kind of modern, but the phrasing of the song it's just pure Stryper throughout. The solo starts with and again, this is what kind of falls into a lot of mine is melodic phasing or phrasing. And because I've always liked the melodies, the melodic uh type rock, and then it that people say that it shifts into this like bluesy licks with attitude. This song to me just has attitude through it because goddamn evil. And it's just like come and one thing that I saw was that somebody felt like it had kind of an against the law type edge to it in the song, and it means it was like a little bit darker, a bit meaner, but it has a lot of finesse to it. So I never really thought about that until I said when I read that was like, yeah, I could kind of hear that
I see
this
that.
kind of tone being in that 1990s album.
Yeah, I can see that. 'Cause they were kinda in that hole where it was stuff was a little bit darker, um but yeah, that I hadn't thought about that before, but yeah, that's a valid point.
So this one. I just always liked it. It's just the way that it comes in. I mean, the solo in it, just I just like it.
Yeah, it's a good song, and it God, I swear every time we talk about this stuff, it's like, all right, well, we still have to do the controversy episode.
Yes, I know.
So,
We'll get
so
there.
every so every time it's like, Jesus, it's like, all right, they made a record called Goddamn Evil. I got kicked out of school because of a t-shirt. I mean, there's just I feel
The
like I
state of
need to
Georgia wouldn't even let me put THWTD on my license plate.
well, no, I feel like I need to start like I need to start writing down like the controversial stuff because we're gonna have a controversy episode at some point, but I have to get
That
all of
was going to
my
take a little bit more prep to make sure we got everything together. So
yeah, no
that's
yeah,
why
no
we're not.
it's gonna be down the road a minute. So
Yes, yes, it definitely will. So we'll get there. And that'll be a good episode to do. So, all right, next pick, your first one.
my first one is Surrender.
That's
I
a good pick.
dude, this song is heavy. And the first time I saw this song live, it was a just a brain burner. And so if as a as a drummer, it was just a different groove. But then Mike picking up, you can have it all tonight. It's that call response thing that we always talking about, right?
Right.
And so it's like, you can have it all tonight. Pick it up and make it right. I mean, I can't I need to stop like banging my head. I know. I'm sorry. But so when I first I think this was the first time I saw Stryper, they played this song, and this solo was like thing on the tremolo where he'll pull it backwards and like it's I'm don't want to get too nerdy, but um it was just something that like pinged me and I was just like, holy crap. This it's right okay, it's coming up right here, right here. Hold on, come on. That right there. So he's pulling a tremolo backwards and pulling it not forward, but over here. So it's it's worth watching, but the sound was like, oh crap, I didn't realize you could do that. So I'm like 16 and I'm not a guitar player, but it was just like, holy crap, you can do that. So yeah, I just thought it was like a really amazing solo. And it wasn't a so the thing with Stryper, most of the time you're dealing with uh dual solos, right? You're dealing with the altos and you're dealing with all that stuff, but this was totally Oz. So that when I was looking at this, that was like interesting to me because it wasn't just it. it was just Oz and not Michael and Oz. So it which is what it usually is. So Surrender to me is amazing song over just sorry. So just overall, but the solo was just like, "Oh, this is just Oz just showing out."
Yeah.
I love this solo. So
Yeah, it's a good pick from the early days of Stryper with the whole album. Soldiers Under Command, Surrender. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one because it should come if you've been a listener of the show, it should come as no surprise that this song made it onto this list. But I'm going to go ahead and do this one because the other songs that I have left, I haven't really talked about those three before. But the next song is How Could I Not Have Yahweh as one of the songs? Because for me, with this particular song, I've heard that it's one of their most ambitious songs because it almost clocks in. It clocks in just over 6 minutes, and you've got all the different ups and downs. You got it slowing down in the middle, then it goes up to that crucified, and then you just got that whole guitar part in the middle. And it's just what I've seen and read, just the structure of the song. People have said that it's epic. The guitar solos rise to match the song within this, just how heavy it is and how the solos come in. It One person actually said it blends classic metal techniques with modern production and emotional weight. It's both heavy. It's just another heavy song, and I'm not gonna play the whole song and wait to get to the solo part of this song with the guitars, but go back and listen to this song because it just I just this this whole song from beginning to end, my favorite by them of all time, but the solos is really what does that for me and this song. One person actually said our they said, I shouldn't say person, but what was presented to me was it's like Iron Maiden meets church choir.
well, I was thinking Judas Priest meets church choir, but yeah, I totally it is definitely got some British new wave of heavy metal in it. I mean, but yeah, it's church. So
And this has become from what I've seen, what Michael Sweet has said, this has become a song that they play. This is in their set list every tour now because so many people love the song. And I think a lot of people like this song mainly for the reason that I do. It's different, it's striper sounding, but lyrically, it's about the crucifixion again. And so, but with the solo in it, it's a great one for me. And this was off the album Fallen, which came out in 2015.
yeah, yeah, I can't disagree with this pick at all because you and I both love this song. I know it's your favorite Stryper song, but it just yeah, it does have that British heavy metal kind of flair to it, which I mean, I love Judas Priest. I love Iron Maiden. This reminds me of that kind of vibe. And so yeah, it's a great freaking song. It's a great freaking solo. So yeah, I you're not you're not gonna get me to say that it's a bad pick. So yeah.
And and if you want to go back and listen to the solo on this song, it starts at about the 3 minute mark of the song. But what's your next pick?
All right. So my next pick is First Love. And it this song's a weird one for me because it, when it wasn't a first song or excuse me, one of my first songs that I was listening to from this group. And when I heard this solo, we talked about this before, but I think it was the first time that I'd ever heard like a alto soprano guitar solo. And there was a lot going on with the drums here, which was awesome because there's some off like right here. But the solo was I believe it was like the first time I heard like the alto sopranos solo, and I was like, oh, what is this? And so so right coming into this was like, and it's so just silky
Yeah.
and smooth and just all the words, and I was just like, "Dude, it's" and I also, it was when I was first getting into Soldiers, so, just learning basically all the song. I know this album back and forth, like, on the drums like the back of my hand, and so, First Love is like, "Holy crap, this is" because it's so slow and just, like,
Yeah.
it's just got that it's so juicy and you got the backup vocals and it's hard to pull the solo away from the song, but geez, man, this thing is just it's so tasty. And, I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but, yeah, the First Love to me, I mean, it's really hard to pull the solo from the song, but the solo is so just thick, and it's, I don't know how else to really explain it, but that's a uh 15, 16-year-old musician. I mean, this song just sounded just amazing, and then the solo kicked in and I was like, holy crap. But anyways, yeah, it has a definitely has a point in my musical career. Just it just sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I agree
Anyway,
with you on the solo on that because the solo does sound really with the whole part of that song, how it's just starts off really slow. Because I don't know if you noticed this, but as I started playing it, I couldn't even hear it because we have it down kind of low, so it's not overpowering us, so we can hear each other. So I jumped to about halfway through the song and listening to that solo as you're going through it. It's just for that solo to fit into that song. I agree with what you just said on that. It was different. It was just a really smooth sound
yeah,
incorporated with that ballad.
yeah. It just kind of just the way that flows from the verse into that guitar solo is like and it's like it's really well constructed. So that's just my opinion, but yeah, it if it the whole song flows really well, but the solo is really intense and it's really sick. So,
Yeah, I do like that one. And I didn't have no, in all of my picks, I didn't have any ballads in them.
well, I'm
They weren't.
surprised that I did. I mean, that's just I think that's the one that where I noticed it's like, oh, they're doing the alto solo. I think that's where I first noticed the alto guitar solos because it was so slow and so like just so smooth. And I was like, well, yeah, that's awesome. But then, yeah, both the guys are playing like one guy's playing the alto, one guy's playing the soprano. It's like it just I don't know. I think it was the first time I noticed that. So, yeah, whatever. I love it.
Yeah. So my next pick comes from the 80s as well. And this is my last pick from the 80s because my other two picks are going to be from their newer stuff. But my last pick comes from the 80s and it comes from their In God We Trust album, which is the actual title of the song. I mean, the title of the album is the track that I picked was In God We Trust. And the thing that I've just always, I mean, just the way that it just begins at the beginning, gets into it, it's just got that classic signature 80s sound in this. It's to me it's just well, not for me, I'm not saying this is I'm reading what research says, but harmonized twin leads. This is where I would say that Michael and Oz are going back and forth, they're playing together, fast runs, melodic hooks. It's just all in one package. And so comes off of a to me comes I mean it's a great opening track. It's like, hey, we just came off our multi-platinum album. We're back to do it once again. And I just think it just kicks off that album with another great song, another great guitar run, another great hooks within this song.
Oh, yeah, dude. Um, Come on. Yeah, it's the song itself is freaking awesome, but yeah, it's scoring this as one of our solos. Yeah, it's I mean, it it's funky because it's a weird time in their career because they're right there with all the MTV stuff and all that, and so but come on, this the solos, they're just yeah, they're great. This is a great pick. Um, and when I woke up this morning, I was like, well, hell, I'm gonna look at my list and I'm gonna want to change everything. And this song was absolutely one of the ones I wanted to change. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm good. But yeah,
A great solo too for the arena tours that they were doing at that time.
yeah, no, this is I mean, if you go look at the videos or the shots for this, it's full on freaking 80s hair metal stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can see all this, but especially that part right there. But yeah, that's a great pick. So yeah, I I legit was sitting here looking at my list. I was like, man, and God we trust might need to be on this, but um no,
I
I'm
picked it
good.
for you. I picked it for you.
Thank
You got your chance to talk about it. So it was in the list for you.
thank you. Uh so all right, so
It, it was interesting going back to your last pick, First Love. I was saying Yahweh clocks in just over 6 minutes. First Love clocks in just under 6 minutes.
yeah, no, it's a long song. Well, the guitar solo is 2.5 minutes. So it's a third of the song in totality. So it's whatever. But who cares? All right. So I'm clocking in with "The Devil Doesn't Live Here," and I just this this freaking thing just speaks to all of my heavy metal. Just all the things. It's fast. Mike's doing his thing on vocals, and it's what 3.5 minutes long, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. It just speaks to all of my metal. All right, I've stopped talking again.
Yeah. And this one was off of Goddamn Evil from 2018. And sometimes when I hear this one, my mind, because their next album was Even the Devil Believes, my mind sometimes thinks this was on Even the Devil Believes, but I have to go, no, it wasn't. It wasn't on Even the Devil Believes. It was off of Goddamn Evil, the album previously,
Yeah, no, it's
or the album prior, I should
the
say.
prior, yeah, the album prior. Yeah, it to me, it's a different flavor of Stryper, which is great. But yeah, I was just like, holy crap, this is. I mean, it.
Well, you bring up a good point. When we talk about some of these songs and we say how it's kind of a different flavor for Stryper, that's how I feel about basically when they did the covering and they did those songs and on. It's kind of like it set the stage for this is what our sound is kind of going to be like moving forward because they're using you've talked about that British rock statements. I feel like you hear more of influences. They're harder. You have more harder songs, in my opinion, than you did during the 80s time period. Yes, you had the harder songs on those albums, but I feel like if you pull out a Stryper album today, you're probably going to hear more heavy than versus kind of just rock. And then typically you might find one ballad on there, but the ballads are different than what they used to be. Because if you when you look at When We Were Kings, you've got Betrayed by Love. That is definitely not a ballad that was in the likeness of Honestly or All of Me or I Believe in You or those there. So I do feel like if you listen to Stryper early or Stryper 80s and Stryper now, you are going to get that different flavor, that different tone and different sounds, not different sound, but just it's a different flavor than what somebody might like have been used to and what they if they've never heard anything from the 2000s, they were like, that sounds different than the 80s did, even though it's still a Stryper sound in a sense.
Yeah. It's really interesting because they they came out of this crazy hair metal thing, but they've also been able to go forward. Excuse me, go forward with how many records have they had since 1990? A, a crap ton. So it's just like,
More than all the other bands that I would say more than all the other bands that have come out that were out in the '80s, because the thing is that a band from the '80s might release an album and then tour on that for 7 years before they do anything new. They do everything they're basically releasing an album every other year, and they're going back into the studio at the beginning of next year for another Stryper album.
yeah. Well, and we've talked about it at not necessarily at length, but we're talking about Mike doing his solo stuff or his side projects or whatever aside from Stryper. It's just like there's so much material. And that that being said, when we were trying to do this five really five, five Stryper solos, mm, it's there's so it's like we were talking about before. There's so much dang material, and so it's really hard to like pick what we're doing. So anyway, so
Well, I want to show you this real quick, because this is hot off the presses. While you were
okay.
messing with when you were messing with your headphones, um, it kind of ties into last week's message. I mean, last week's pod, and then this week's pod, tying into the whole Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen thing. So let me share this because Michael Sweet just posted this just a moment ago, and you texted me this last night as well. But he says, "Happy belated birthday to DLR."
Hmm,
He goes,
yeah.
although I'll most likely get some flack for this statement, he was and is one of the greatest frontmen and singers of all time. Without David, Van Halen would not have been the legendary band that they are. Thank you for inspiring this young musician at the age of 15 and continuing to do so for years to come. Much love and respect.
How do you not put some respect on DLR? I mean, especially if you're Michael Sweet.
Yeah, I hear you. It's people want to argue that it's back and forth. Are you a Hagar? Are you a Roth guy? And it's just like take as I've gotten older, because I used to get mixed up in that whole comment thing and like, well, they're a better Hagar. They had every album was number one and everything was like that. And but you go back and you listen to the two different eras of Van Halen, or three, if you want to include the Gary Sharon,
But we no.
and but they are they stand on their own, and to me, yes, I see, as we spoke about last week, I was really introduced to Van Halen on the 1984 album, and then they had all this previous stuff, but everything Sammy was releasing, it was new, it was coming out, I was into it, I was listening to it, and I think that's why at first I kind of like vibed with that a little bit more, but as you go back and listen to the DLR era, it's great.
Well, I'm always gonna be a DLR guy because all of my favorite VH songs are in that era. But, I'm not gonna diss the Hagar era because, eh, those guys they wrote better songs. If I'm listening to I mean, so, um, here's what it is. My favorite Van Halen records are Fair Warning, Women and Children. They're all of my favorite stuff is in the DLR era, but I also will say that I think there's better overall songs in the Hagar era because, uh, he they were, as a group, a better set of songwriters. I mean, so whatever, it is what it is, but it you're gonna give me Mean Streets and Dirty Movies and Unchained and come on. That those are some of my favorite Van Halen songs, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that the Hagar era was crap, because it wasn't. I mean, right here, right now, there was just a ton of songs. Pound Cake, I mean, there was just, and Eddie's tone was different. It just was, and I think we talked about this before. Eddie's tone was just better. It during some of those Hagar records. So, yeah, I don't even know how we got here, but anyways,
Yeah, well, I showed that post. It's all because of your headphones, because if your headphones hadn't crapped, I wouldn't have been scrolling on Facebook, and then I saw that he posted that just about 10 minutes ago, but I
I'm
agree
sorry.
with you. I just always felt like when I look at the 2, the Hagar era had a little bit more polished, a little bit more mature sounding. They kinda dove into more relationship type theme songs, like When It's Love, I Can't Stop Loving You, those types of things. They still had their their hey, let's have a good time type songs going on in that era. But with the DLR, it was just more raw. They were climbing the ladder. They were more of a, I guess you could say, party band. uh, and the David Lee Roth, and that goes back, I believe, to what Michael Sweet just said. One of the greatest frontmen, or in his mind, the greatest frontman to ever be. So, and he's got the showmanship. He still, he was still doing it. But it, before we get back on track with Stryper, if you didn't get a chance to see the best of all worlds tour last year, yesterday they Hagar released the live residency album. So if you want to go hear what they were playing, it's Satriani, it's Arnoff, it's Michael Anthony, Sammy Hagar, and I can't pronounce the guy who is on the keyboards for that's been on keyboards for him for this tour. But the residency album that they did in Vegas was released yesterday. I've listened to a couple of the songs on it, haven't listened to everything, but one of the first ones I went to and listened to was 5150, and I'm like, yeah, I hate to say this, good try, Satriani. That's not Eddie,
Man, you you want
but he
so
did a
much.
good job.
No, he did a good job. You just want so much for it to be Eddie, and it's just not Eddie.
Yeah, it's not
It's just not. But, you know, you you can't dismiss how great Satriani is, but it's just like, it's just not Ed.
Yeah, it's not. And I mean, he does. And I listen to the beginning of Summer Nights because those two made my top favorite solos. And I'm just like, yeah, I like it, but it's not Ed. But I still enjoy listening to it because nobody else is doing that stuff live anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's so if you get a chance, if you did get a chance to hear him on tour, if you didn't get a chance to hear him, go listen to that album. I'm sure it's gonna be good.
It's still fun. I mean, it it's, you know, and God bless Sammy Hagar. It's just he's still pushing that stuff forward, but it's not freaking Ed. So
Right.
what are you gonna do? Right?
I know. What that's exactly right. But I'm just glad he's doing it. I'm glad we get, like I said last week, I'm glad you and I got the chance to go see him last
It was
year.
absolutely
It was fun.
fun. We had a great
Yeah.
time. But yeah, it's just not Ed, but Sammy's doing a good job of pressing this stuff forward, and I'm digging it, but yeah, it's just you can't you can't replace a one of one.
No, I agree with you there. So, all
Anyway,
right.
anyways,
But yeah, because they put Summer Nights, Top of the World, the new song, Encore, Thank You, Good Night, uh, Human Beings. That's one that they started playing at the residency, I believe. They weren't doing it on the tour last year. Course 5150, Pound Cake. Or it looks like only one made it on there from the David Lee Roth era. Ain't Talking About Love. But they did more David Lee Roth era on the tour that we saw because they did Jump, Panama, and then they got a couple of Sammy songs in there. And then the album closes out with when it's love. But back to Stryper.
Anyway,
Back to Stryper. So you did. I know what I have left. What are you mixing with?
so did we did
Okay, you did The Devil Doesn't Live Here. That was the last one we did.
okay.
Okay, so I will jump in and I'm going to go with this one from their 2013 album, No More Hell to Play, Saved by Love. But with Saved by Love, when you go back to the covering and you go back to Second Coming, you kind of get a feel of like, wow, this is what they're going to be doing on their next album. So when No More Hell to Pay came out and this song was on there, it was just like, okay, they're really going, in my opinion, more heavy consistently through an album than back in the day with songs like Calling on You or Always There for You, Holding On. Even though I really like those songs, I was like, I really like what's happening here. And this one, it's just full of
Yeah.
speed runs throughout the song. And there's a lot of aggression in it, but it keeps the melody intact. Um, it's not just shredding, it's structured throughout the song. And that's the thing I've always liked about Michael Sweet and Oz when they play is that they're not just, well, let me just do something. It flows so well with the song and keeps within the space of the song. But yeah, Saved by Love from No More Hell to Pay drops right into one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. I not a record that I listen to often, but, yeah, it it it's also one of those that, like, just kind of punches you in the face, and it's like, "Hey, um, it's it it's not a it's not a record that, like nothing that was on MTV or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's like, "Alright, but we're still gonna freaking punch you in the face," and that was kinda where I was rolling on some of my solos. It's like, I'm not picking all the MTV stuff, and that I mean, yeah, this song is like it's definitely would not be on the list of
And I've never noticed this before, but right there at the very end of the song, I can go back and listen to it, but I might be hearing things, but I just felt like that actually sounded a little Van Halenish there at the very
it
end.
you know what? You're not wrong because I yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's not why I picked it, but I was just like, "Oh, I'm hearing that." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like that." But yeah, Saved by
Dude,
Love.
if you go to the catalog, you're gonna feel a whole crap ton of Van Halen. I
Yeah,
mean, so
you will.
it's
You will.
yeah, alright, so
You got 2 more.
my, my next is The Way, 'cause man, phew, this whole record for me, it's just I mean, just ridiculous. I think I just love every song on this record, but, um, The Way is just like it's it's pounding, and like we said, I think we said last week, it's like we're telling a story, and then I and the other thing is, my thing with Oz is whenever he pulls that tremolo to the back, because that's how this solo opens up, since we're talking about solos, it's it's ridiculous and it's so good. This another problem of pulling the solo from the song, because this solo just kinda blows up with that backwards tremolo, which is wait, hold on. Alright,
While you're looking at
we still
that,
got another verse. But no, this is just one of my favorite Stryper songs, like, ever. So,
what's interesting when you say it's one of yours, I when you said Oz Fox, I pulled down my album real quick and I was like, this is the one where Oz has the writing credit on To Hell with the Devil.
mhm.
This was the song that he wrote that was put onto the album.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like and for my ears, I can usually tell whether it's Mike or Oz playing the guitar. It's like, um but yeah, so on the way, I was just like, "Oh, man, this is yeah, this is an Oz solo," and so it's just I don't know. I won't say that's silly. But no, I can usually tell it's like when I'm listening to Alter Bridge, I can usually tell where it's a Miles Kennedy solo versus a Mark Tremonti solo. So the tones are different,
Yeah.
the feels different, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's Mike's playing is great, and Oz's playing is great, but um, sometimes you know you just like your peanut butter versus your chocolate, you know.
No, this is a good choice. I mean, listening to it, like you said, it's silly, but no, it's another one that I enjoy listening to, and I agree with you on it. Can't criticize that one at all.
All
So
right.
we got one. We both have one more, and I will go ahead and jump to the next one. And this one comes. It's their only original song off the album The Covering from 2011, and it's God. And
Nice
I've
pick.
always liked this song. It's another song I would love to see live.
Right.
And with this particular song, the solo in God, and again, these aren't my words because I've already explained that, but the solo in God is a masterclass in melodic phrasing and emotional control. And it's not fast for the sake of being fast. Every note just kind of feels chosen. The solo opens with a vocal like melody, then slowly builds into a incredible climax on the song. And it's one of those leads that tells a story which makes sense. The song is just it's just great. And you listen to it again, it's like, hey, they did this album with all their influences and everything going on like that. Now it's they did their original song, and it's like, man, this song really, really rocks. And I love the song. And just lyrically, again, hits, but just the guitars, the solos, and the song, it makes perfect sense for me.
Yeah, and no, I can't add really anything to that because I love this song. It's just it's so happy and so like I mean, th- it's it's funky because Stryper Stryper does a lot of stuff where it's not necessarily happy, but it's not like praise music, of course, but they do a lot of stuff that's kinda dark storytelling, right? So this kinda song is like it's very uplifting and it's like, I don't know, it sits well gosh, it's just so it's one of those what we were talking about, what the heck were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about sing along. Yeah, it's just a song that kind of makes me happy. This is one of them. And so I'm just I don't know. It's a song that just hits me in the heart. And
Yeah.
so there's a there's a few songs that do that. They have a few songs in their catalog that it's like, all right, um it it's not a worship song, but it's pretty dang close. So I mean that kind of thing. So but yes, I this is a good pick, and it still it freaking reminds me of some Judas Priest kinda the end vibe, like this right here.
I love this. I mean, this is why I like it. When you hit about the 3 minute, if you haven't heard this song before, the solo kind of comes in or the guitars come in around the 3 minute mark. Go listen to this. It's just,
It totally reminds me of some Judas Priest, but hey,
yeah. But again, I love this song. And
yeah, it's
I
a great
think,
song.
unfortunately, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but it maybe this particular song, and I could be wrong on this, it gets buried because it's on the covering album, and sometimes people don't uh, pay attention to greatest hits albums or covering albums, and they miss original songs that can be on those. So if you haven't heard this one, definitely go listen to it. Off the covering from 2011.
Yeah, I think people sleep on the covering in general, because I mean it's a cover record. I mean it's not a Stryper record.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, I know you and I talked about this, but we are gonna get to the covering soon. That was one of the requests for us to do, was to do our thoughts, insights on the album, the covering. So we are gonna get to that here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, no, that'll be easy. I mean, yeah, I mean, because yeah, there's a lot of songs on there that are just I I liked them before Stryper covered them, so
Yeah,
so it's all good. But dang, I don't think I sent you my last.
I've got it.
Okay.
You sent me the rock that makes me roll.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sitting here looking at my notes, and I don't have that. So yes. All right. So yeah. So the rock that makes me roll. I think this is the heaviest Stryper song like ever. So once I get to the solo, I'm just like, it's it's up there with some Van Halen songs and some. I mean, in this era, eh, I feel like people sleep on it, and I don't know why, but, um, yeah, it's just I I have and I also have, like, a lot of nostalgia moments on this song. It was, like, the first time that my parents, like, said that my drumming was they could tell that I was a pretty decent drummer. Well, seriously, I was playing this song and the song stopped, and I went out, and it was dinner time, and my mom was like, "Man, you're actually kinda good at that stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, I kinda am." But anyway, regardless, I eh, the solo in this so Oz picks up the initial, and then Mike picks up the alto part, and it's just they just keep going and keep going and keep going, and it's just, it's a freaking assault. So, this is definitely one of my favorite Stryper songs for sure, but the solo is just like the way they because Oz steps in first and is doing this thing, and then Mike is on top of him going towards the end, and it's just like it's a freaking assault, and it's so awesome. So, yes.
Yeah, this is a great song. I understand why you pick it, and this one is off of Soldiers Under Command, and it's if you're looking at vinyl or if you're looking, it's the number 5 track, the last track on side A on Soldiers Under Command.
Yeah,
So,
it's so freaking God, it's so good.
but that rounds out your top 5, my top 5, and again, last week we talked about Eddie Van Halen in our top 5 from the Van Halen days, and this week we jumped back in and we brought Van Halen back into the conversation. Thanks for the thanks to the post that I saw while we were talking. And but no, another great week. Did you want to review your top 5 real quick along with your honorable mention what they were?
Oh, let's see. Hold on a minute. So yeah, I had Middle Finger Messiah on the way, and I had the Devil Doesn't Live Here. I mean, that's one that I was surprised it ended up on here because I don't know. It's not something I've listened to a lot, but I I was really loving it. And then First Love, and then Surrender. And so yeah, and then
The Rock That Makes Me
The
Roll
Rock That Makes Me
is one.
Roll. That song is just like it's
Yeah.
so ridiculous. But yeah. Yeah, so those were mine. I mean, I feel pretty good about it. I know a lot of it is old school, but that's kind of what I came up through. So aside from Middle Finger Messiah and Devil Doesn't Live Here, um I f- you know, like I say, I feel like it was a pretty decent list.
No, I do like your list. I mean, a lot of great songs on there. I started off with my honorable mention was More Than a Man, and then I threw in there In God We Trust, Goddamn Evil, Saved by Love, Yahweh, and God were in my top 5. And you know, we sat on this list for about a week and a half. And like you said, if I had I was like, okay, I'm not even going to go, like you said this morning, I'm not even going to go look at it because if I do, I'm going to get all tied up. I'm going to change.
Yep.
But I stuck with the list that I had ready from last week.
Yeah. No, I got up this morning, it was like 7 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh, crap. We got a pod this morning," and I was like, "Dang it." I literally could go down and because like we were saying before, there's so much dang material. So I just stepped away from it because
With more material coming.
right?
You got the Christmas album that's coming out, The Greatest Gift of All coming out with some original stuff on there, and then you'll have they're going into the studio at the beginning of next year because that was one of the things that they did mention on that live feed that they did on Facebook the other day was Michael Sweet had said that they'll be coming off when they go on the trip to Greece, they'll be coming off of just recording the album. So they'll have that done by the time the Greece trip comes around. Again, with this, what we did last week and what we did this week, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Whether you're Hagar, whether you're DLR, and for those who may not know what DLR is, that's David Lee Roth. You can't deny,
Listen, it's
yeah, yeah. If you don't know that, you can't deny what, and this is kind of summing up the last 2 weeks that we've done this. You can't deny the mark that Eddie Van Halen left on music in general, but also you can't deny that mark that he left on Michael Sweet and the band, and just the band Van Halen left on Michael Sweet. So again, just looking at that, it's just yeah, just the impact that he had on so many musicians
well, we spent a freaking hour and a half on it last weekend. But yeah, it's you can't you can't deny what EVH the stamp that he made on a ton of people. I mean, eh, I always go back to Nuno. That's he he's the embodiment, in my opinion, of what EVH would be doing currently.
today.
But yeah, it's I mean, yeah, it's like again, we spent an hour and a half on Van Halen last week, but yeah, it sucks talking about it because he's not here anymore, but, it's fun talking about it because, he is one of the guys that put an imprint on every rock and roll guitar player. I would I would challenge you to tell me, what guitar player did not be inspired by Eddie Van Halen, because I don't think there is one. Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
But I
I'm
mean,
kidding. I'm kidding.
no, I mean, that's a good point though, because I think it it when when you talk about influences, you talk about Hendrix. Okay, cool. So what's the next big influence on rock and roll
Ready.
guitar players? It's freaking EVH. I there's not one in between those two, which but there's only what 5-10 years maybe between the two.
Right.
Hendrix is like what 67. Damn, yeah, and then EVH is 78, 79. So, but anyway, but yeah, it's a thing where it's like, all right, there's only a few that are that influential, and so for me anyway, it's Hendrix, and then we move to EVH, and there's nobody in between. So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up for the day. I've got children to attend to, so but we appreciate you hanging out with us here on To Hell with the Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple. We're also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, X. I mean, sorry, I still say Twitter, X. Instagram. So don't forget to like us, rate us 5 stars. Let us know what you think. Love the comments. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, please comment, like, and subscribe. Love you guys, and we will see y'all next week.
Yep. And as always, keep it loud, keep it honest, and keep the fire burning.
Hell yeah. Love you, man.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right.